It all begins with a tension you can feel in the air. The judge walks in, eyes sharp, papers stacked neatly, and everyone in the courtroom knows this isn't going to be an ordinary hearing. The defendant sits still, shoulders stiff, trying to hide fear behind calm eyes. But one look at the prosecutor.
Good morning, sir. Are you Christopher Wright?
Yes, I am, sir. Good morning.
Good morning. Judge Patterson's been dealing with this. I'm Judge Middleton. I'm here with your lawyer, Mr. John Bush, and Chief Assistant Prosecuting Attorney Joshua Robert. You got two cases. One is set for today. No, they're both set for today. One is file 251777FY. That alleges carrying concealed weapon, possession of a taser, and domestic violence. The first two are felonies. Carrying concealed weapon is punishable by up to 5 years in prison. Prosecutor Robert has offered to dismiss both of those charges for a plea to domestic violence, and that would be on your spouse, Stine Krogostad. I think that's a Swedish name.
It's Norwegian.
Norwegian. The other case is from a year ago, August 30th. That alleges domestic violence on your mother. And that is file number 241606, and your mother is Kathleen Corzine. So the plea offer is to dismiss the felony charges, plead to one count of domestic violence from August 30th of 2024. Domestic violence is a misdemeanor. It's punishable by up to 93 days in jail and a fine of up to $500. And one count of domestic violence from September 5th of 2025. So it'd be two misdemeanor domestic violence. The felony cases would be dismissed. Mr. Robert, is that your understanding?
Yes, it is.
Mr. Bush?
That is also my understanding. Yeah.
Mr. Wright, are you going to plead to two misdemeanor counts of domestic violence?
Yes, sir.
Very good.
Now, pay close attention here. The defense starts confidently, building their story one sentence at a time until the prosecutor interrupts. You can hear the tone shift immediately. What seemed like control starts slipping away. The defense looks down at their notes, pretending to check something, but it's not for clarity, it's to buy time. These few seconds decide whether they'll recover or lose the...
All right, let's talk about that for a minute. If you plead guilty to these charges, you're going to be giving up your right to have a trial. You'd have a right to have a trial in both cases or either case. You settled one and wanted to try the other one. If you had a trial, you'd have the right to be represented by an attorney. Mr. Bush has been appointed to represent you. You could also hire an attorney of your own choosing if you wish. If you had a trial, you'd have a right to have any of the witnesses for or against you subpoenaed to come to court so they could be questioned under oath. You would have the right to take the witness stand and testify on your own behalf, but you don't have to because you have a right not to testify. And if you did not wish to testify, the judge or jury cannot hold your silence against you, and you have the right to be presumed innocent unless the state was able to prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. On 606. All right, anybody threaten you to get you to plead to these charges?
No, sir.
Promise you anything?
No, sir.
Well, let's talk about the first one. And that case is alleged that on August 30th of 2024, which would have been last summer, you made an assault upon your mother, Kathleen Corazzini, in Three Rivers. This
Did you notice that reaction? The witness hesitates before answering, and that one pause changes everything. In court, silence speaks louder than words. The prosecutor doesn't rush, they just let the silence do the damage. You can almost see the doubts spread across the jury's faces. It's not just a question being asked
would have been, I think, at the house on Oklahoma Drive. Does that sound right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Did you get upset with your mother that day?
Yes, sir.
And did you grab her by the arms and push her?
Allegedly, yes.
All right, at some point, grabbed her by the throat. All right.
I don't know if that's a factual basis. He said allegedly, yes. He
Oh,
didn't
all right,
admit
yeah,
to
all
doing
right,
anything.
let's find out. Did you, says here, you grabbed her by the arms, grabbed her by the throat, pushed her and scared her while you were yelling at her. Did that happen?
Yes, sir.
All right, that's a factual basis. Let's talk about the other case. This one's a little more recent in time. Again, this is at the Oklahoma Drive address,
Yes, sir.
and you're married to your spouse, who is Stine. Is it Stine or Stein?
It's Stina Krogstad.
All right, that's your wife.
Yes, sir.
And did you get upset with her
Yes, sir.
and grabbed her by the face?
Yes, sir.
And she wanted a divorce and you didn't.
The prosecutor steps forward calm, confident, but with the kind of tone that cuts through the room. She's not here to discuss doubts, she's here to present certainty. She begins recounting the child's statement, word by word, and suddenly the atmosphere turns cold.
Correct.
Is that true? All right.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna need more information here.
Judge, I would ask for a PSI in this one. He has a out-of-state criminal history that's hard to decipher. Would be helpful to get all that information from one of the
All right.
probation agents.
I did a PPO in this case, so I have some familiarity with it. They were quite frightened. There was a meth pipe in here, so I think meth was underlying this. You seem good this morning, clear-headed, smart. I think you've had some clean time, thanks to Judge Pattison, which is a good thing. All right, I'm gonna ask for a PSI, which is called a pre-sentence investigation. It's gonna take a little bit to do that. Are you on probation or parole anywhere?
No, sir.
What kind of work did you do?
I was a handyman for a while. I've been on and off the streets. Like you said, I've had an addiction problem that I'm trying to address now.
All right, well, sometimes going to jail is where you start it.
I agree,
Do
sir.
you and she have children together?
Yes, we have 3 little ones.
Well, at some point I understood she was talking about going back to Norway. Is that in the mix?
I don't know. Like I said, I haven't been able to talk to either. I'm in the dark with everything, so.
All right,
I hope not. I hope to reconcile all this and get the help I need. This is the first time
Oh.
I've actually addressed it in my life, so.
all right. Well, we're off to a forced sobriety, which is a
Then something unexpected happened. The prosecutor opened a police report, a small detail most people had ignored, but this detail changed everything. One simple line revealed a clue that flipped the whole story upside down. You could feel the shock spreading through the room. The defense looked shaken, and for the first time, the accused looked worried.
place to start. This is gonna take me a while. So let's go to that October 20th date, John. At 10:30. It's gonna take me about a month to get this pre-sentence investigation report done. Judge Pattison canceled your bond because he was concerned about public safety issues. This will be just a way to get you some additional clean time and keep everybody safe. The worst that could happen here is you could get 93 days followed by 93 days. That's not probably likely to happen. But I need more information. I'm gonna set for sentence for 10/20/25 at 10:30.
Do I have a
All
moment?
right, Mr. Wright, are you doing any classes or anything at the jail?
Yeah, I just did Endeavo for domestic violence. I just got a certificate. I guess Pivotal has to print them out, so I'm waiting to hear from her.
Very good. You take whatever they got and see you on the 20th. All right, that's
Thank you.
all right. Warrant, $10,000 cash or surety bond, 48-hour hold. Good afternoon or good morning, sir. Are you Ricky Wendell Murphy?
Yes, sir.
All right, Laura, I'd still like a bind over waiver sheet on Mr. Murphy. This is Judge Middleton. I don't think we met before. You're from Edwardsburg?
Yes, I am.
Well, you got charged with operating a motor vehicle.
The cross-examination begins, and this is where true courtroom drama unfolds. The prosecutor's voice stays steady, almost too calm. That's how you know they're confident. The witness tries to stay consistent, but every new question exposes another.
While intoxicated as a third offense.
Correct.
Let's take a look at that. Also with reckless driving and driving suspended.
Yeah, no, I wasn't suspended.
All right, well,
No.
we'll sort. That's a misdemeanor. That's just sort of on there.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
These things allegedly occurred here in St. Joseph County on August 31st.
Correct.
Well, let me find it. It's alleged that on August 31st in the city of Three Rivers, You did operate a vehicle upon Millard Street with a high blood alcohol level over 0.17 and as a third or subsequent offense. Under Michigan law, that is a felony. Looks like you got several convictions in Indiana. That is a felony punishable by up to $5,000 and up to 5 years in prison. Carries 6 points on your driver's license and requires that your license be suspended. Reckless driving is a allegation that you were driving on 131 southbound in the northbound lanes. We sure have had a lot of that lately. And that's a 93-day misdemeanor. And you're also charged with driving suspended. You're entitled to have a preliminary examination in that matter. You're also entitled to waive it and have the matter bound over to the circuit court for further proceedings in that court. Mr. Bush indicated that at this point you wish to waive the preliminary examination, have the matter bound over to circuit court and deal with it up there. Is that correct?
Now, this moment right here, it's pure chaos in slow motion. The defense objects, the prosecutor counters, and the judge barely contains the storm. The jury is watching all of this unfold, not the law, but the emotions. Courtroom battles aren't just about facts, they're about...
Yes, sir.
Mr. Murphy, your blood alcohol level, I received it this morning, and you were tested at the State Police Crime Lab of 0.212. So that's consistent with the police report. So it's my recommendation that we execute the waiver and move the case forward.
Yes.
All right, let me read that to you. I, Ricky Wendell Murphy, understand I have a right to employ an attorney. I may request a court-appointed attorney if I'm financially unable to employ one. I voluntarily waive my right to a preliminary examination and understand that I will be bound over to the circuit court on the charges in the complaint and warrant. Is that what you wish to do?
Yes.
All right, I'll put defendant waives on the record. I lost my bailiff. John, let me give you that and ask if you and Josh could please execute that. All right, Mr. Murphy, the matter will be bound over to the circuit court for a status conference, hopefully sooner rather than later, and see whether it can be resolved. Are you on probation or parole anywhere?
No, sir.
We'll probably be setting this a plea as soon as
All right,
possible.
well, maybe something we could consider for sobriety court. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. All right, good luck, sir. I may be seeing you further.
Thank you, Mr. Murphy.
Okay. Oops, sorry.
Good afternoon, sir, or morning. It feels like afternoon. Are you Willard Pelfrey?
Yes, I am, sir.
A video was played next, short, shaky, recorded from a hidden camera. It showed two people in a parking lot, exchanging a small bag. The sound was faint, but one sentence stood out clear as day. It's done. They'll never find out. The defense immediately objected, but the crowd already had.
This is Judge Middleton. I'm here at the court. Your lawyer, Mr. Truckee, Ross Truckee, is here with me. Also, Chief Assistant Prosecuting Attorney Joshua Robert. In this case, you're charged with possession of methamphetamine. Let's actually look at the complaint. I can find it. It's alleged that on September 9th in the city of Sturgis, you did possess methamphetamine. That is a felony. It's punishable by up to 15 years and up to 10 years imprisonment and a fine of up to $15,000. Do you understand?
Yes.
The prosecutors agreed to dismiss that charge for a plea to use of methamphetamine. That's a misdemeanor. To a year in jail and a fine of up to $2,000. You understand?
Yes.
Are you going to plead to that misdemeanor charge?
Yes, I plead guilty.
All right. Anybody threaten you to get you to do that?
No, sir.
I promise you anything?
Nope.
All right. Do you understand that by pleading to that charge, you'll be giving up your right to have a trial in front of a judge or a jury? There will be no trial. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir, I do.
If you had a trial, you'd have the right to be represented by an attorney. Mr. Truckee is here with you. You could also hire an attorney of your own choosing if you wished. If you had a trial, you'd have a right to have any of the witnesses for or against you subpoenaed to come to court so they could be questioned under oath.
Now we hear about missing paperwork and late entries. Imagine being stuck in jail just because someone forgot to file your name. It happens more often than you think. The system isn't perfect, and this moment proves it.
And you have the right to be presumed innocent unless the state was able to prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. You understand?
Yes.
All right, let's talk about this. Did anybody threaten you to get you to plead to this?
No, sir.
Or promise you anything?
Nope. No, sir.
Now, I know a little bit about this because I arraigned you on the trespass ticket that was out there. But you were walking down the railroad tracks on September 9th and you had your pack and stuff with you. And they found a small amount of methamphetamine in your possession, which came back as positive for meth. Is that true?
That's true.
And had you used some?
I did prior, maybe a week before that, because I just knew it all this, and it really wasn't what I thought it was going to be. So I thought I was just going to toss it out, but I ended up putting it back in my pocket for some reason. I don't understand why.
All right, well, that's enough for the plea, but I don't believe you. I think that you're struggling with methamphetamine and goes hand in hand with your homelessness. But what you told me is enough to accept the plea. You could have just owned it. You've been in jail for 14 days. Where are you going to go if you get out?
Probably to go to where I was before, Britt's front porch, and get my stuff. Go to Elwood, apply for a job, and then come back to go do the program at Keystone here in Centerville. And hopefully get a place here in Centerville.
All right. Mr. Truckee, anything you'd like me to know?
I've encouraged Mr. Pelfrey to use Keystone, see if that can help get him off the streets. He's not gonna be able to get clean if he's living outside.
Yes, and it's gonna get cold. Mr. O'Bear, anything to add?
No.
I'm gonna order 30 days, credit 14.
The defense stands up for their final argument. The room goes quiet. Their voice is slower now, almost personal. They talk about doubt, about mistakes, about how justice isn't always clear. For a moment,
No fine, no attorney fee. Minimum fine of $125 for 2 additional days. You got about 2 weeks of additional clean time, Mr. Pelfrey. And maybe there'll also be some time to work with Pivotal on a placement, rather than just to have you standing out on the front steps today with nowhere to go. Do you know what they did with your pack and all your stuff?
Actually, a young lady gave that to me that day to keep for myself. And I really don't know where everything's at. Everything could be gone. Because a lot of people goes up on his porch and does whatever they like to do. And I'm pretty
Yes.
sure about everything I have is gone. So
Basically you got the shirt on your back.
yes.
Do you have any family around here?
Well, I got family, but they're all they're like on the other side of the tracks. They don't have nothing to do with my side of the family either. My mom, dad, sisters, aunts.
Yeah, there's a lot of Pelfreys around Sturgis area.
Yeah, but they're not the type of the Pelfreys that would help me do anything. I don't even know half of them. I just met Tim Pelfrey that's in here. I just met him just a year and a half ago. And that's
All
my
right,
dad's.
well, I'm gonna give you some clean time. All right, Mr. Pelfrey, best of luck to you.
Thank you.
You're good to go.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Good morning.
Good morning, Your Honor.
This is Judge Middleton. I'm here with your lawyer, Mr. Truckee, Mr. Ross Truckee. Also present is Joshua Robert from the prosecutor, chief assistant. We've had a very long morning and we're coming to the end of it. You have 2 cases pending. File 251778 alleges that on June 20th, you did possess methamphetamine. That is punishable by up to 10 years in prison and a fine of up to $15,000. I understand that waived preliminary examination in that matter, and the matter is going to be bound over to the circuit court. Then in file 251867, you again got charged with possession of methamphetamine. And that is the same charge, up to 10 years.
at this point, the judge notes there's no DNA or obvious forensic proof in the affidavit, just the young child's testimony. That is an important legal reality. Many child sexual abuse cases rely heavily on witness statements, especially when no physical.
And a fine of up to $15,000. I think this is, let me look at, maybe habitual, because you seem like you had one years ago. Yeah, you're charged as a second offense, which makes it a drug double, punishable by up to 20 years imprisonment. The bonds were not that high. I didn't set the bonds, but the bonds were set at $1,000 cash or surety in each file. You got arrested on each case on 9/12, so I don't think you were on bond on one when you did the other one, but you got arrested both. He wants me to address the issue of bond. It isn't very high for what we're looking at. Mr. Truckee, what would you like me to know?
Ms. Krager has some medical concerns. She's got a tumor on her knee. She reports. She's been consulting with Dr. Aurora, I believe, in Three Rivers.
Yeah, Dr. Aurora.
And she'd like to be able to pursue that treatment going forward. So we'd ask for a PR bond, and we're open to a tether through pretrial services.
Ms. Krager, where do you live?
I live at 69204 Elaine Drive. I live with an elderly veteran named Vern.
What town is that in?
So it's in Sturgis.
Who's the other lady?
I'm sorry,
Who's the other lady?
other lady.
You said you live with another lady at that house?
With an elderly veteran named Vern Southwell.
Vern Salvo?
Yeah, he's an amputee veteran. I take care of him. He's got one. Yeah.
All right. You got a previous methamphetamine conviction that you haven't dealt with. You have a felony, and then you have one with us that you haven't paid. You got charged with possession of methamphetamine in June and then again in August or in September. You list a Mintdale Road address. Who lives there?
That's my ex. I no longer live there.
Closing arguments began in a storm of emotion. Both lawyers spoke like their lives depended on it. The prosecutor fought to keep her dignity. The defense demanded justice for the betrayal revealed. And the accused, he just sat there, silent.
Well, it's my family. It's like, we're like family, but like, yeah, I don't live there anymore.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, you're 23 meth. You got 90 days in jail. And some fines. Chip. This
Sorry,
bond
I've
is
also
quite low
had
for as
different-
distressed as you are. Yes? Go ahead.
I said, I've also applied to 7 different rehabilitation clinics throughout this year, and they've all like rejected me because of this tumor in my leg and in my shoulder. I have applied to the TLC House, the Witt House, the Manda House, the Hope House, Gilmore Center, the TLC House in Angola, the Witt House in Angola.
All right, well, I those are worthy enterprises, but right now you're right where you need to be. I'm a little concerned about this man who you allegedly take care of. You're with Mr. Hewitt, and he's got meth in his possession. We're talking June, we're talking September, and you haven't conquered it. The bonds are quite low for what it is. So your motion for a PR bond is denied. You can bring it up again in the circuit court. But right now, the bond remains as set with all the conditions that were on the bond if you do post them. So,
Okay.
all right, good luck.
Thank you.
I'm not inclined to do a PR bond in those circumstances. So good luck, man.
Well, that took a turn. This stretch of hearings was like a courtroom sampler platter, each case different, but all threaded together by Judge Middleton's steady hand and his ability to keep things moving even after a long morning on the bench. Let's start with Christopher Wright. The case boiled down to a plea deal that knocked out 2 felonies, carrying concealed weapon and possession of a taser, in exchange for 2 misdemeanor domestic violence pleas, one involving his mother and the other his wife. The judge was thorough in walking Wright through the rights he was giving up, and defense counsel John Bush did a solid job keeping his client on track. Wright himself was surprisingly direct. No long detours, just short yes sir answers, even when recounting unpleasant facts. The prosecutor, Joshua Robert, made sure to flag the out-of-state history and the meth pipe in the record, which Judge Middleton clearly absorbed. The decision to order a pre-sentence investigation was classic judicial caution. Gather more facts before deciding how best to balance public safety, treatment, and family dynamics. Wright came across as clear-headed and, dare I say, almost relieved to have some structure around his situation. Then we shifted to Ricky Murphy, who faced an operating while intoxicated third offense. The blood alcohol.
The verdict was read, not guilty. Gasps erupted across the room. The prosecutor stood frozen, unable to speak. Justice had been served, but not in the way anyone expected. Because sometimes, in courtrooms like this, the truth doesn't set you free. It just changes everything.
Alcohol level of .212 set the stage for why this was serious. Judge Middleton didn't editorialize. He simply laid out the stakes and confirmed Murphy's waiver of a preliminary exam. Defense counsel did the paperwork. Murphy confirmed his understanding and the case was shipped off to circuit court. No drama, no confusion, just a clean handoff. What stuck out, though, was the judge's offhand comment about seeing a lot of that lately, driving the wrong way on a divided highway. That's not just courtroom filler. It's the kind of observation you only hear after sitting on the bench day after day, spotting patterns that the public never really notices. Next came Willard Pelfrey, a possession case that got reduced to use of methamphetamine. Pelfrey pled guilty but offered a narrative that was more hopeful than convincing. He said he'd only tried it once, didn't like it, meant to toss it, but somehow kept it in his pocket. Judge Middleton wasn't buying that part. He even said flatly, "I don't believe you." But instead of hammering the point, the judge pivoted to the real issue: homelessness, instability, and addiction feeding off each other. The defense lawyer pushed Keystone as a possible program, and Middleton handed down 30 days with credit for 14 served, essentially time to stabilize, maybe linked to services. It wasn't lenient so much as practical, jail as a pause button, not a solution. Finally, we landed on Miss Krager with 2 methamphetamine possession cases stacked back to back. Her lawyer asked for a personal recognizance bond because of her medical issues, tumors requiring treatment, and she described a string of rehab rejections because of her health. That might have pulled some weight if not for the context: multiple charges, repeated meth involvement, and a vulnerable person at home who she claimed to be caring for. Judge Middleton weighed it carefully, but drew the line. He acknowledged her circumstances but emphasized the seriousness of the repeated offenses and denied the PR bond. His delivery wasn't harsh, but it was firm, signaling that bond decisions are about risk and accountability, not sympathy alone. So across the docket you had a mix: a defendant looking clearer than expected, one who was just passing through, one still wrestling with denial, and one hoping for leniency but running into her own track record. Through it all, Judge Middleton kept the balance: respectful, patient, and sharp enough to cut through when stories drifted too far. If you found this hearing insightful, consider subscribing, hitting the bell, and letting me know your thoughts in the comments below. I read every one.